I'm not crazy, I'm in control. 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 I'm not far.
Hello, hello. This is the Doom Show. Richard, Brad, Jeffrey, Nafa. It's the Doom Show. Hello, hello. This is the Doom Show. Slashers, giallo, and horror. It's the Doom Show. The cuckoo clock interrupts the show. Doomed movie-thon. Death of the old salesman. Sweaty Cameron Mitchell. Hello, hello. This is the Doom Show. Richard, Brad, Jeffrey, Nafa. It's the Doom Show. It's the Doomed Show. Doomed Show.
Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I am Richard. I am here in Hurricane Hermione Central in the shelter where it is safe perchance to dream. No. I'm here with Nafa.
Hello.
We just are surviving Hurricane Hermine, although for us it's just the tropical stormine.
Hurricane Harambe.
He never gets old. He also never gets young, because he's a dead gorilla.
Oh.
No.
Go ape.
Woo! Speaking of monkeys, we just saw Rob Zombie's new movie. We just got back from a Fathom Events, which has the most annoying host ever. Hey, how's it going? You guys like skinny jeans?
My Oxford is relatable.
Oh, the guy is all Oxford commas, no semicolons. We just saw Rob Zombie's 31.
3i.
Now you may think you see a grease-painted reformer sitting before you, but trust me, I'm not here to brighten your dismal day. I am here to end your miserable life. You know, all in all, you've had a pretty good run. Deep down inside, you must have known.
You digging what you see, Pops?
I reckon I do.
It all had to end somewhere. Might as well be now.
What the hell is this?
Tonight, we are going to play 31.
And all you have to do is survive 12 hours of our own private hell. I say we hunt these freaks down and slit their throats.
Now we have ourselves a game.
Murder school? Oh, it's now in session.
One day I
31 is war. And war is hell.
In hell, everybody loves popcorn.
Before we start, yes, we're going to spoil whatever, because we're going to just talk about it.
This movie is going to be spoiled. Never mind.
Yeah,
I was going to say something, but I didn't want to start off with a whole bunch of profanity. So,
Bleep, bleep, bleep. Like the movie. The movie was PG talking in an R-rated box. I don't know what that meant. Now,
speaking of R-rated boxes,
I was really excited about this. I've never been to a premiere, or whatever you'd call this. Was this a premiere? Where were all the Hollywood stars?
it was. I couldn't remember. I couldn't decide whether it was an advanced screening, post-advanced, or an advance screening.
Yeah.
I don't know which is the correct terminology.
Me neither. I guess advanced screening, but I felt advanced being there.
I suppose it's one or the other.
Right off the bat, we are shameless.
What was it that Mitch used to say?
It's a virtual dartboard out there. Right off the bat, we are
in a virtual dartboard.
We're in a virtual dartboard. We survived. We actually drove through a tropical storm to get to this event because we were that excited about it. We are unapologetic Rob Zombie fans. It's funny because we've done a lot of Rob Zombie episodes, but that was like 80 episodes ago now, or like 70 episodes ago. So be warned, folks. If you don't like Rob Zombie, then go see 31. It's not like his movies at all, except... What? No, it's the most Rob Zombie movie that ever Rob Zombie a movie.
He even admitted it in the interview. Yeah, there was an interview afterwards, and that was one of the things he said.
Yep.
Flat out said.
He's like, yeah, I've been trying to make stuff that was different, but not this time so much. This is like House of a Thousand Corpses Part 3, if you will. Definitely a return to form.
Actually, technically, it's a prequel.
Oh, because it's
the year before.
Oh, it's so great. Set in October 31st, 1976.
Which I'm glad I watched House of a Thousand Corpses today because I believe it is 77.
That's awesome.
And then what would, I guess, you know, I'm always confused about the Devil's Rejects, whether it's like day or two later.
Yeah.
Or if it's a year later.
If he makes 30 more movies, it'll be 1946.
Oh, geez.
Hey. Go away, kid. You bother me. Oh, fuck.
It'd all be shoulder pads and fedoras.
So we noticed that when we got the tickets that it was a 2-hour-long event. And, you know, I immediately looked at how long the movie was. It was an hour and a half. So there was going to be a music video, two music videos we got, and then some extended stuff at the end, a Q&A. And then one of the things that Rob Zombie always does whenever he does a movie, there's extensive behind-the-scenes stuff.
I think the one on The Devil's Rejects is actually longer than the film.
He loves to document every step of the production.
And just a word about the documentary at the end of 3i. It was almost exactly... I could have been watching The Devil's Rejects one. Because it was done so meticulously the same. So, not that they're doing the same exact documentary, it's just that that's how he documents things.
Right.
And it felt... As much as I really enjoyed that one, the Devil's Rejects documentary, but it only takes so much of it so many times. I don't think I've revisited it since I think I brought you that DVD with the express purpose of watching the documentary first. When I first got it years ago.
Tutti fucking fruity! Shut up! Tutti fucking fruity! Tutti fucking fruity! Shut up! Tutti fucking fruity!
Listen, there is no fucking ice cream in your fucking future.
We've been threatening a Lords of Salem review for a while, so I haven't revisited any Rob Zombie for a really long time. The reason we've been holding off on the Lords of Salem is we're trying to figure out how to get Brad, Nafa, and I to talk about it. We've been threatening to do this since Lords of Salem came out. We will eventually do it. So coming back to Rob Zombie tonight was really fun. It was like very comfortable. The movie is very tense. It's just 5 people get kidnapped and forced to fight for their lives for the amusement of Little Lord Fauntleroy or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Before we actually get in the movie.
Okay.
The 2 music videos prior
Oh,
to
shit.
the film.
Yeah, sorry.
The first one was something about a gore whore.
Yes. He had 2 songs. Now, I'm not a Rob Zombie music fan.
I am.
At all. But I gotta say, the music for Gore Whore and the video for Gore Whore were really doing it for me. It was a lot of fun. Like, it felt...
That was a good one.
Didn't feel serious.
And here, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to listen, fast forward in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The guest guitarist, I believe, is Doyle from the Misfits. Dressed up as Frankenstein. He doesn't have his devil lock. He's got his... Because when he first showed up and he had, I forget whether it's the Destroyer or the Annihilator, whatever his guitar is called.
Yeah.
I saw the dude who was tall and built playing it. Then they showed him close up and he had his bolt necklace. But when they showed his face, I was like, that's his face, I think, but his haircut's wrong. And yeah, so he shows up. You listen to Rob Zombie music not to hear Brian Eno breaking new ground or something classic and you know, anthematic forever. Same reason you get the same ice cream every time you go to, you know, Cold Stone. It's because you like it and you know what you're going to get. There's this note that Rob Zombie plays, an E and a G are these notes, and it just, all his songs have that little transition, and this one didn't let down. It was just another version. Could have been Sick Bubblegum. It could have been Dragula. It could have been,
oh my God,
you know, a number of songs of his, and it was fun. And the video was great. It was one of his back to form videos, like the one he did that, like Clockwork Orange or Living Dead Girl, where they were fun videos and had a scary side and a funny side, especially when they were doing the Thriller dance.
Yeah. They did a couple moves from the Thriller dance in the video, and I was like, yeah, that's good stuff.
It was fun.
And then the other song was it Put Your Boots On?
Something like that.
Something like that. And it was one of those, you know, concert footage.
Just the performance piece.
There was a guy in an Anthrax hat, and there was a guy that was recording Rob Zombie with his cell phone at the concert. And it was the most poignant thing. I was like,
oh, that's beautiful, man. Oh, that's beautiful, man.
Rob Zombie puts on a good live show, but, you know, it didn't really, of the two videos, this one was like,
yeah.
The song was okay, and even though it's stuck in my head, the video was just live shoot, whatever.
Right.
I mean, even Twisty Chris has a video like that.
I want to see the green room footage. I mean, of Twisty Chris.
Oh.
There's a movie called Green Room that's ruined green rooms forever.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
People fighting Nazis.
Oh?
Just like this movie.
Oh. This movie was short on Nazis, though.
Okay, folks. Last spoiler warning. Here we go. So, our Carney folk, you'll recognize the one dude who was in Halloween 2. He was in it, and he is referred to as King Dong at one point. We've got Sherry Moon Zombie. Light on the Sherry Moon Zombie butt.
There was only a silhouette, I noticed. There was no actual flesh. This is the first.
This is the first movie that Rob Zombie's made that wasn't a Sherry Moon exploitation butt movie.
She still was the lead actress, but
she was grabbing her crotch at the old guy.
Oh yeah, and then she grabbed his.
That was so amazing. There's a lot of great, gritty, sleazy characters, packed in an RV. I mean, this is such, like, Rob Zombie, I don't think he cares about the horror stuff. I think he just wants to hang out with people and listen to 70s hippie dirt rock.
That pretty much is it. I mean, he did have Freddie Boom Boom Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter. That was great to see him, actually.
Holy shit.
I think he just cast him because he looks like Peter Tosh.
He looks so cool.
So that's why he was like, oh, let's make him Jamaican.
Meg Foster, good old Ice Eyes Meg Foster. She was in Lords of Salem as a witch. And she is Venus in this movie. She's a badass.
I didn't even know her name until the end.
Oh my God.
Until that documentary.
She's so beautiful. I love her. She's kind of a madam of carny prostitutes. And she has a great moment with the pussy, like the pussy anthem. Oh my God.
That just made me cringe.
It was like
sucky sucky
acting.
Fucky fucky.
Oh my God.
Juicy juicy. Money or something like that.
So it was bad.
I just was like, oh my God.
Imagine if you saw the speech that Cheech Marin gives in From Dusk Till Dawn when he's talking about the different kinds of pussy, but it's your grandmother trying to remember it and tell you it from memory, and less funny.
Trying to tell you it as an instruction, not as like a fond recollection.
Did you learn anything from this? Swish, swish.
Oh, you know what?
Sorry.
I totally forgot about the pre-credit sequence.
Oh my God, yes.
Black and white.
We have no notes, so it's going to be a little funky here. So rewind. It opens with I noticed a continuity error, and you noticed a goof.
Possibly, yeah.
So a priest is being menaced by a gentleman named Doomhead, and you actually get introduced to the movie by Doomhead. It's fucking brilliant.
Another favorite from Halloween 2.
Yes, he was...
And he even tapped into that character later.
Fuck.
I was like...
I can't remember this actor's name, but he was one of the ambulance drivers, and he steals this movie, man, especially when he dresses up like Peter Murphy. But we'll get to that later. I'm Peter Murphy, blah, blah. But he comes in and does an amazing monologue. The continuity error I noticed was that his makeup completely changes in the different takes, so they probably shot a few takes of it and they switched between it. It's a little jarring, but
maybe it was set
who
to
cares?
Be disturbing like that.
Oh, it was a mistake on purpose.
That's what they're going to claim.
It wasn't. And you noticed something about the priest that was pretty funny.
Well, the priest, I think he actually calls him a priest at one point, and I believe he's wearing a rosary, which, well, one thing, you're not supposed to wear rosaries like that, especially if you're a priest. I don't think you are. Maybe you can. The other thing was, he was talking about his wife and kids, and if he's wearing a Catholic rosary, he's obviously not a Lutheran minister,
right?
So, or any of the other denominations that allow marriage. So I was trying to justify it that he was Episcopalian, but he wouldn't have been wearing a rosary. Yeah, so that throws me. I don't quite get unless they threw it on him.
Right.
Who knows? That's just me nitpicking.
When you're watching something on the big screen, you can always reach into the pants of the person next to you.
There was candy there.
Keep digging. So they get stopped in the middle of the night in their RV as they're heading to the next carnival town.
After they stop to get gas.
After they stop to get gas at the hilarious, so the Summer Tooth guy.
Yeah, that was...
Summer here, summer there, you know.
That was...
Which I recognize that actor, but I can't place him.
I always say, it's Larry and Daryl. No, it's not him. It's the other guy.
It's an old character actor. You've seen him a million times.
I didn't know he didn't have top teeth.
He's looking a little rough in his old age. But
I think that really was filmed at his house. So,
he's got cheroots. He's happy.
We're also introduced to E.G. Daily at this point.
Oh my God.
Where she comes out and basically flirting with the what was his name again?
I was going to call him King Dong.
King Dong. She was flirting with King Dong, but you can tell, if you're paying attention, she's shaking him down for information about what's going on in the van, protection-wise.
Yeah, making sure they weren't hunters, strapped with a bunch of hunting rifles.
Yeah, and I have adored E.G. Daily since Valley Girl.
Dude, she's so good.
I cannot now, whenever I close my eyes and listen to it, I don't see E.G. Daily, I see Tommy Pickles from Rugrats in my head. So it ruins it to a degree.
I mean, it makes it sexier. Oh. No, I really like her a lot. She's aging very well. She's still got it.
I mean, I've had a crush on her.
So yeah, you get the sense that something is terribly wrong immediately when she shows up. And then, of course, as the dudes are cruising at night, they run into some scarecrows.
They were fantastic, like Blair Witch-ish.
Yeah, and then they get besieged by I almost want to say the goons in this movie. The word goon is very important.
Yeah,
the show must goon. It says go on, but it's very close. So it says the show must goon on their RV. It's pretty awesome.
It was, that dawned on me that was foreshadowing.
It's so good. So the goons show up, and they look like people in the employ of the Penguin or something.
Yeah.
They great prison, jokey prison costumes or
that
something.
Extended up into paint on their face as well in
really
stripes.
Eerie looking.
They look like Pasco County prisoners because that's what they were.
Oh.
The prison people wear stripes, just like convict stripes from old-time films.
We just made this into a Florida movie, folks.
It's all about the, help if you can. Please send your donations to 1-800-HarambeHurricane.net.edu.
Hey, it's pretty rough out there, man. We had to drive through rain to get to the mall, which I had Chinese food.
I had gyro, which I always will opt on the side of gyro. It was a bad choice, but Okay, just a side note. When we were sitting there eating dinner, everything started to go dark. There was lots of lightning and lots of wind, and one of the squall lines came through, and apparently it's the same one that had a 78-mile-an-hour gusts about 15 miles away direct straight.
What's really sad is I'm so out of touch with reality that my biggest fear was that the power would go out during the movie. I'm not worried about our safety. I'm not worried about my poor wife who's at home alone with the cats. I'm like, fuck, man, if the power goes out, they're not going to restart the fucking movie. We're going to have to go.
I had a similar thought, but my thought was like, if a tornado comes, it's going to come through the roof and it's going to interrupt the film.
Exactly.
Not that the tiles are going to come down on us. Not that we're going to die.
Hey, we go to Veterans Theater, AMC Veterans. That's under the flight path of the airports, so that's risking your life.
That is true.
They could dump the poop out.
We both had the revelation of that.
We're gonna die here. Stupid Ant-Man. Anyway,
as many hours as I spent at that dumb theater. Literally, we would spend 6 hours there a weekend.
And the most ironic thing is that the most dangerous part about that theater is fucking driving there. Because that road, there's so many in memoriams to all these fucking people on the road who have died on that stretch of road over on Anderson.
You ever wonder what they went to see right before they died?
Fucking Ant-Man. Everybody had to see Ant-Man. Now they're all dead. This podcast brought to you by Marvel Studios.
And lots of sympathetic well wishes.
I had a lot of candy tonight. Anyway. Yay, candy!
Okay, the Stripey Men.
So the Stripey Men capture our heroes, and they take them to a isolated location, which looks like a grand cathedral theater.
It must have been an abandoned church inside or something.
Inside a industrial complex.
If this movie... If there's one thing this movie doesn't run short on, it's atmosphere.
Yeah.
And this moment did it for me.
Totally.
I got the butterflies in my stomach. I was like, oh, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The way it was lit.
Oh, man.
The camera angle, everything about it just... It's where he finally married Halloween and Lords of Salem and House of a Thousand Corpses.
Exactly.
It was right in that moment.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that makes us appreciate him as a filmmaker is the atmosphere he brings with everything. There's a lot of stuff that he brings to the movies that I don't like from other directors.
Yeah, he brought Scorsese's Boombox one time, and he brought, it was annoying because he kept bringing like Coppola's popcorn and throwing it at people.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
He brought Hitchcock's gout.
I was going to say
Hitchcock's cock. No, he brings a lot of like the things I don't like about Rob Zombie are prevalent in this movie, which is lots of chaotic screaming, lots of torturous violence, more than just. I mean, there wasn't like extended torture scenes, but
surprisingly, there weren't in this.
When the violence happens, you start to get that. Oh no! Like at least I do of that. Like here we go.
Yeah. That happens a lot in The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the griminess, the sleazy characters, the rape talk, and the stuff that
uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah, it's not like ruining my day. I'm not gonna. I should be crawling into a corner and crying, but really, I'm just furiously masturbating. Anyway, but there's just so much to like about this movie. I mean, especially if you're Rob Zombie freaks like we are.
One of the areas he kind of brought that back is with the frenetic action camera work, which my big example is that second Bourne Identity or Conspiracy or whatever the second one was, where all the action films were filmed on the back of a kid's skateboard who was getting electric convulsions while holding it. It was... I hate that kind of stuff because it takes me out of the action.
Right.
I like fluid action scenes, or at least somewhat restrained. This is one of those ones that puts you in the fight, and it really doesn't. Yeah,
he tries to, make the camera into a weapon along with, everything else. It gets really hard to look at. Speaking of hard to look at, so the rules of the game are simple. Malcolm McDowell, very sexy. No.
He was
Oh my god,
fantastic.
Malcolm McDowell is fucking off the chain in this shit. He's so fucking good. These three, they're done up like old dandies, like the royalty. Like they went through and raided Adamant's fucking closet.
Yeah, it was pretty much a French provincial 1700s Marie Antoinette kind of thing going on. I don't know what that, like pre-French Revolution.
Their bums were powdered.
Powdered.
I liked their ornamental nude chicks. They had lots of naked girls hanging around, and I was like, that's a spicy meatball.
Where do they get their maid service?
So he and his cronies are supposedly very wealthy people that like to watch people fight for their lives, and they gamble on everyone. The most dangerous game, which is, of course, in the interview with Rob Zombie, he name dropped very, very.
He didn't name drop Surviving the Game with Ice-T and
That's
Rutger Hauer.
What a dropped thread there.
Rutger Hauer, Charles Dutton, Gary Busey, F. Murray Abraham, William McNamara, and Ice-T. Surviving the Game.
Bang!
Directed by Ernest Dickerson.
Wow, classic cinema. They gamble. There's a great, they lay odds on everybody. They give everybody numbers. Of course, Sherry Moon is number 5 because Rob Zombie's obsessed with her butt. Because everyone knows that the international number for 5 is butt. Amen, brother.
I thought it would be 3 on its side.
Oh, that's a booty. So the villains that come out to play all have names like Shockhead or Schizohead or Doomhead.
Buckethead, the guitarist from Guns N' Roses, was one.
That was way better than my dickhead joke I was going to make.
You had to listen to Chinese Democracy. And
Bucket. Fucking Buckethead. Oh my god. Wow.
Anyway.
So the villains come in and they are chasing these people down. Of course, it's one of those one villain at a time, which is, and their introductions are very grandiose.
It was very much like The Running Man, which I didn't even catch on that reference.
I didn't think about Running Man until Rob Zombie mentioned it in the interview afterwards. Yeah. He's like, hey guys, come on. I never saw Running Man. I'm like,
come on, guys.
Come on, guys. I will. No. He was... Like, he honestly must have shown it to some friends who were like, dude, this is just like The Running Man. And then he's like, shut up, I've never seen that. So, of course, The Running Man didn't have a little person Nazi Hitler, a little mini Hitler.
That's not how they start out The Running Man.
Oh, I wish. The guy, I believe his first name is Pancho, because they kept referring to him as Pancho in the making of.
Yeah.
He was really, really good. He was very intimidating as little Hitler.
There's very little of his stuff he said that I understood.
He said a lot of dirty words in Spanish.
Yeah, and there were a few moments that he said some amazing things. If I think what he's saying is what he said.
That guy is great. For the first villain to come out is a little person Hitler. I was very impressed with that. That was a lot of fun. What I like about Rob Zombie's movies is the villains are always fascinating. He's in love with his villains, as always. He loves his characters he loves the whole universe that he's in, but he does this thing where the villains steal the show, as they do, and even little Hitler gets to steal the show for a moment.
Yeah, the problem is that sometimes he makes you pointed this out to me with Devil's Rejects, trying to make you root for the bad guys too much, instead of making them bad guys.
Yeah, this time I did not root for the bad guys.
No, but they were pretty entertaining.
Yes. The pair of clown brothers with chainsaws was very Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is funny. Like, you gotta give it up to Tuber, good old Toby Hooper. He set the standard for that shit with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Like, every time these villains show up in Rob Zombie's movies, I am transported to that first viewing I had of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Like, so good.
I want to say I even saw that one before I saw the original. That was the, I think it was Tuesday was the 40th anniversary.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my god. Let's see, what other villains do we have?
We have Sex and Death.
We had Death and Sex. Death was like a 6'5" German guy.
Which I'm trying to look to see.
He was wearing a tutu and goggles, like all Germans. And, of course, Sex was E.G. Daly playing her little marionette.
Oh, God. She was almost a perfect Harley Quinn. I mean, Torsten Vogus.
Torsten Vogus.
Was Death Head.
He was very funny. He was very, very goofy and just in stature intimidating. Yeah. Not so much in costuming, but it was very fun.
He was, yeah. That's where every character that came out, the midget Nazi.
Yep.
The skin-wearing Chainsaw Brothers.
Yeah.
There's a moment there. Let me take a side where Charlie goes to get the chainsaw. And I wonder, this is just a far out connection. There's a wrestler, very famous wrestler, Terry Funk, who wrestled under the name Chainsaw Charlie. And so I was like, is that a nod to Terry Funk? I mean,
that'd be so cool.
That was a wide connection there.
Chainsaw Charlie.
It was, he used to wrestle, I think when he was wrestling with Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, they were tag teams, and he was using the name Chainsaw Charlie.
Nice.
It might be Leatherface! Or it might be Chainsaw Charlie! How do we know?
The Joker and Harley Quinn imagery did not end with E.G. Daly's very marionette-ish costume, and also seizures. If you're prone to seizures, you're going to have a problem with a scene in this movie.
Pokemon's got nothing on this scene.
Oh my god.
And it goes on.
It's an extended scene with a strobe light, and my eyes were going bonkers. I loved it, but I was also worried that, again, we have to stop the film because someone's having a seizure. Selfish bastards.
I wonder if that was intentional, or if he thought it was just an artistic choice,
Probably
or if he's like, maybe if I can fuck with the audience.
Oh yeah.
And my migraine was almost gone, but it came back.
Oh no!
It was just like, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Rob, dickhead.
Yeah.
That's funny. Not funny, haha, funny. Fuck!
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed that whole sequence. Our poor bastard survivors are being picked off one by one, and they haven't even gotten to good old Doomhead.
Gentlemen, take the rest of the night off. I'll handle it from here. Murder school? It's now in session.
What is his name? Do you have...
Doomhead?
Yes, what is that actor's name?
His name is Sexy Hotbox.
You can't jelly your dick.
Richard Brake.
Okay, Richard Brake. This guy, whew, man, he has that body type I've always wanted. That freaking skinny, just muscular, awesome, and
he's lanky.
Oh God, and he's dressed up like Peter Murphy. Well, first we meet him at the beginning of the movie, then we forget about him. We know he's coming.
Yeah.
He doesn't come in the movie. When we see him again, he's having sex with a woman, and it's amazing. He's watching Nosferatu to get horny, and he's banging this lady.
Which happens to be Ginger Lynn, the porn star. Now, was she...
He loves Ginger Lynn.
I was about to say, he must
loves her.
Because she was in The Devil's Rejects.
Yep. He loves Ginger Lynn. So...
As Cherry Bomb.
Nice. He gets a phone call from his employers to
Coitus interruptus.
And play the game of 31 with everybody else and kill these people. And he gets into the spirit of things. He has to get himself psyched to go into it. Such a great moment where the movie completely stops while he puts on his makeup to some classical Beethoven music.
Yeah, he put on an 8-track with this beautiful song.
Oh, God. If that scene had been half an hour, it would have been fine.
I remember I was giddy when I heard that. I was like, oh.
And he's just screaming at himself in the mirror, I'm not crazy, I'm in control, over and over again.
That was amazing.
And he's punching himself in the face.
He did a full-on Andrew WK.
Oh my God, so good.
With
That I Get Wet album cover.
Yeah, with the
classic
whole bleeding. Which made me think.
Party.
You know, Andrew WK probably would have done that role good. Done a good job in that role too.
Andrew WK is too frightening to put in one of these movies. He is so crazy.
Yeah, at that time, like he might have actually been someone better. But I can't say that because this guy is awesome. He's always awesome.
Yeah, he's
whether
really
I'm
good.
have full revulsion as to what the dude's saying or doing, or whether I'm totally like, yeah,
as
this
you
guy
should.
is awesome. He's got the full range.
So he comes in to clean up and finish everybody off, and we won't go into the whole ending of the movie, but I'm pretty happy with this. I'm glad we did this. This is great. It felt like a less of a progression, like Rob Zombie was on a roll between Halloween 2 and Lords of Salem, and he kind of backtracked a little bit for this one.
In a good way.
In a good way, especially if you enjoy really tense movies that are also really atmospheric.
I'm not going into a Rob Zombie film to watch him produce Cough Cup or something. I'm in it to hear the Rob Zombie low E note and then be pleasantly creeped out by whatever new gimmick he comes up with, whether it's gory or truly terrifying like Malcolm McDowell's character in this, or, just psychological, It's not Frozen, like he said in the interview. It's not for everybody.
Oh man! So at the end of the film, we were treated to a Q&A with Rob Zombie, which is typical Rob Zombie, kind of like, hey, I'm just doing my thing, like very nonchalant.
He seemed a little more receptive in it,
admitting some funny things about his films that I really enjoyed. And then, like we were talking about before, it ends with the short clip, a very long.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like 2 minutes.
Short clip.
It was like 15.
I'm telling you, I think that's the thing that he has the most fun with, is just looking back. Because he's one of those directors who claims he never watches his films. I bet you he watches those fucking making of documentaries all the time. Like, oh, my home movies. Look at her butt. Look at her butt. That's my wife. Maybe they're having marital problems. He didn't film her butt the whole movie.
No. It was clothed. There was one scene towards the end where she was slipping out of a tight space, and it was silhouetted with the backlight.
Yep.
So that was as close as we got.
I have an idea for our Halloween costumes this year. Let's both dress as twin Rob Zombies.
Okay.
We're doing it. But yeah, that's the big thing I got from this very fine evening, was getting into the fucking Halloween spirit.
It officially begins.
Oh my God, it was so perfect. That's the thing that's been lacking in my life all summer, is that Halloween spirit. So
there hasn't been a good film in a horror or spooky genre in a while. That I can think of. I mean, I hadn't seen anything recently. Or a fun one, I should say. Not necessarily good.
But we're not giving up. We are going to attempt this year, this Halloween season, do some bonus episodes like this. I'm not gonna say what we're gonna go see.
There are 2 more I know of, and I think there's a third that I'm forgetting.
There's definitely 2. There's possibly 3 more movies we're gonna get off our butts and go to the theaters and report back to you.
Yeah.
One of them I've been excited about since the teaser trailer, and I'll give you a hint. It's nacho ordinary spinach dip, because that was on the menu at Bennigan's.
We'll make you smile, 'cause we got style. Bennigan's Ghostbusters!
That's not really a clue to anything, except it's nacho ordinary spinach dip. Well, thank you, sir. This was an awful evening. No, this was an awesome evening.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. And a surprise 5-day weekend doesn't hurt.
Yeah, we keep getting out of school, kids.
Yeah, thank you, Hurricane Harambe. And thank you, Ronzoni, for another fun film.
I always call him Robert Zombmeckus. I just made that up. I don't call him that.
When I was a kid, I used to get Details magazine, and he was, before White Zombie showed up real big. They had like rock stars with their parents. And it was him with his normal looking parents. But he was like this. He was like super skinny.
Yeah.
Awful dreadlocks, sunglasses and the bandana and tattoos. And I was like, oh God, why? What is this guy? And now it's just like, I love you, Ronzoni.
Who's the guy from...
Ragu.
Who's the guy from Prego? No. Who's the guy from all of those related bands like Ministry?
Al Jorgensen?
Yeah. I love how Rob Zombie is like this keeping it real Al Jorgensen old guy now. Like, I don't know.
He's taken that look and made it more accessible.
He's got his diesel hat on.
I noticed that it was a diesel hat too. I was looking for mine too when we got home. I'm not going to lie. I was like, I got one of those flap cap things here. Let's.
Oh my God!
And I was longing for his clean cut phase when he did the whatever that album was, Horses. When he cut off all his dreads and he had shoulder length hair and it was just brushed and a little beard. That was his clean cut phase, and he looked like a drug dealer then.
Was he like wild horses?
That's what I've got running through.
Wild horses.
And then I think Caution Horses, and I think that was actually.
Are you thinking?
Sweet Jane.
Are you thinking of Octung Baby?
Sweet Jane. Who did the slow version of Sweet Jane?
I don't know.
Cowboy Junkies?
No, it was yes, it was Cowboy Junkie. I was gonna make a 4 non-blonde jokes. You know what? The others. Ow!
City.
What's going, King Dong?
Come on, guys.
Good night, folks. Thanks for listening.
Hello, this is The Doomed Show is available at hellodoomshow.podomatic.com. For the old episodes, check out the archives at doomedmoviethon.com. To contact the show, email us at doomedmoviethon@gmail.com or at doomedmoviethon on Twitter. For more Doomed Moviethon goodness, also visit cinemasomnambulist.com.
Hello, I'm Gore Blimey, and I'm your host on the Trilogy of Terror podcast. Each month, I'll look at one director and talk about 3 of their horror movies, kicking things off in episode 1 with Lamberto Bava, the man who brought us Demons. Now, the horror films might not always be scary, or even good, but, well, if that happens, what movie and pizza night isn't all the better for a bit of extra cheese? Come and check out the show at gentlemansgrindhouserecords.com or find it on iTunes and Stitcher.
The Trilogy of Terror podcast, where we try 3 times harder to give you the willies.
Uncommon Interest, a podcast that takes you off the beaten path and kicks your ass. Your host, Craig Chaos, plays you music and discusses films and comic books. So stop on by and listen at uncommoninterest.libsyn.com and get cool uncommon music and awesome stuff at uncommoninterest.bandcamp.com.
Don't come running to me when you wake up in the city morgue with a tag on your toe having been beaten to an unrecognizable uncommon interest.
Looking for something different in your podcast library? Then why not check out the Podcast Under the Stairs? I'm the host, Duncan McLeish, and joining me each week will be a special guest as we examine some classic, old-school horror favourites, as well as some modern classics. That's not to say that we don't tackle some of the, let's say, more questionable entries into the horror genre. And if all that wasn't enough, we have a subset of shows called Baz v Horror, where our horror novice, the Baz, tackles horror in all shapes and forms to see who will come out victorious. So what are you waiting for? The show can be found at podcastunderthestairs.wordpress.com and on Stitcher and iTunes. The Podcast Under the Stairs is a proud member of Legion Podcast Network. This is Duncan McLeish from Under the Stairs, signing off.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds?
Necrophilia.
pedophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was
How
going to be a
did you
rough
watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Well, hello, my dear friends. I am Baron Martino, and when I am not in Italy murdering beautiful fashion models, I enjoy hosting a little show called The Giallo Room. Giallo is basically the Italian word for yellow that often referred to cheap mystery novels with yellow covers published by Mondadori in the early 1900s. However, it later became the namesake of a notorious genre of films that peaked in the early 70s after Mario Bava, Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci, Sergio Martino, and many other talented Italian filmmakers introduced audiences to a new style of film that incorporated ornate cinematography, a pulsating soundtrack, beautiful female victims, and a black love killer, all together with a thrilling twist ending. Join me, won't you, as I share my unhealthy obsession of Giallo with you all in The Giallo Room. You can find The Giallo Room at youtube.com/c/The Giallo Room Show and facebook.com/The Giallo Room, as well as your closest participating adult film store. As always, my friends, grazie.